Hello viewers, this is Errand. Welcome back to my playthrough of Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. We just performed a quest to find all the fairies missing from the Golden Grove. Now we're going to head to Castaway Cove. Come to this little boy that wants to be a pirate. Arr, you again. You have decided to join my crew, perhaps? Not just yet. No? How unfortunate, especially so considering my latest find. Eh? What's that then? It's not treasure, is it? Har har, it's better than treasure. It's a genuine treasure map. I happened to come across it while rearranging the governor's storeroom. When I showed it to him, he appeared certain that it was once the property of the legendary Castaway Corsairs. Wow, are you sure it's real? Most assuredly, and look, 7 places have been marked upon it. They must be the locations of hidden treasure, do you not think so? I sure do. This is so neat. A real-life treasure map. Arr, I was sure you would be interested. A suitable find for the future Pirate King of Justice, I think. Alas, Mother will not allow me to go and look for these treasures. It is dangerous, she claims. Of course it is, Mon. There's flipping loads of monsters out there. There's no way a midget like you would last 5 minutes. Course, being the High Lord of the Fairies, I'd be fine, like. Truly, you will investigate the locations marked on this map for me? Then please do so, I beg of you. The treasures must be found. So we'll take on Errand 70, the greatest treasure. This one will also yield 10 merit stamps. Har har, I felt sure you would agree. Now I am sure you wish to commence your search right away, but this map is not without its problems. It is extremely old, you see, and it is torn in several places. Therefore, the exact locations of the treasures are not quite visible. But since 7 locations have been marked, it can be assumed that there are 7 separate treasures, I think. Looks like it, Mon. I suppose we'll just have to search for them, and it. Well, the legend of the Castaway Corsairs is very famous, I think. Everyone in this town knows about it most certainly. Perhaps you should ask local people if they have advice about where to commence your search. That sounds like a great idea. Gee, isn't this exciting, Mr. Drippy? Well, we can see several people around town have advice. Excuse me, ma'am. Would you be able to tell us anything about the Castaway Corsairs? Anything at all? Ah, it is the treasure they found that you wish to hear about, perhaps. Well, many people know of the Shipwreck Shore and the reason for its ominous name. But not so many know that the Castaway Corsairs once ran aground there themselves. Or so the legend goes. Thanks, ma'am. We'll go take a look. That sounds like a promising lead. Looks like the girl near the boy has some info. Hi there. Do you know anything about the Castaway Corsairs? Yes, of course. Mother tells me one of their tales every night before I go to sleep. Last night, she told me about when they went to an island that was far, far away, and found treasure there. Neat. Do you maybe remember the name of this island? It was the Island of Mine. No, that was not it. It was the Island of Not Mine. No, that is not right. No Island of Mine, perhaps? No Island of Mine, you say? Hold on, that name rings a bell. Sounds a lot like No Longer Mine Isle. Excuse me, sir. Do you know anything about the Castaway Corsairs? We're interested in learning as much about them as we can. Oh ho! I am sure I know what you are interested in, young man. Treasure. Ha ha ha! Very well. The continent of Autumnia is divided by a mountain range, in the foothills of which is a steep incline known as Billy Goat's Bluff. It is said that the Castaway Corsairs left the safety of their ships and scaled these hills in search of treasure. Perhaps they rather fancied themselves as part-time mountain bandits. Ha ha! So another clue, Billy Goat's Bluff. Excuse me, ma'am, do you know anything about the Castaway Corsairs? We heard there were all sorts of tales about them. Ah, yes, these are old tales indeed. I recall one about them finding treasure on an island covered in birds. Now, what might it have been called? Swan Island? Ugly Duckling Isle? One of those, I am certain. Swan Island. Another clue to jot down. Don't lose your diary again. Tired of looking for it. A bar of chocolate. Excuse me, sir. Do you know anything about the gang of pirates who used to live in this town? Ah, you mean the Castaway Corsairs, I think. As a child, nothing would excite me more than hearing tales of their adventures. My favorite was always the one in which they went to Bungler's Bay, west of here. Their captain nearly met his end there, I believe. Another clue, Bungler's Bay. Excuse me, have you heard about the Castaway Corsairs? Most naturally, there is no one in this town who has not, I am sure. The tales of their adventures have been popular bedtime stories for generations. Wow, really? Would you mind telling us one? Well, there is the one about when they headed northwest in search of a treasure on a tiny and intensely cold island. a location with a climate quite different to their native Castaway Cove. They say it was gripped by an eternal winter. I have even heard versions of the tale that mention something called snow, a soft white substance that falls from the skies. Excuse me, we were wondering if you could tell us anything about the Castaway Corsairs. Me? Ah, surely I am no expert. But I do recall the tale of how they found treasure in the bar something. It was somewhere coastal. I seem to remember the story, saying that they returned in moods most foul even though they had succeeded in finding the treasure they sought. Strange. I do believe he is talking about the Barons. Anyway, now that we have those clues, let us go searching for treasure. Let us call Tengri down. And first we'll check out Shipwreck Shore. We'll land on this northeast bluff here. It's a stone marker. Now that we've taken on this quest, we can read them. What's this stone over by here, then? Some kind of writing on it, too. Now, what does this say? Scavenging on the Shipwreck Shore. The tides have washed all sorts of things onto the Shipwreck Shore beach. Just as we landed, in fact, we saw that a wrecked pirate ship had been lifted onto the sand. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to have been full to the gunwales with treasure. These are the days about which every pirate dreams. A Castaway Corsair. A few Nazcaän runes. This must be one of the places marked on the treasure map, huh? Yeah, I reckon, but never mind that, Ollie boy. Look round. There's shipwrecks aplenty round by here. Let's go and see if there's any treasure left over to be had. Well, I think I've already got all the hidden treasures in the world, but we can get an Angula. Now let's get Tengri to take us somewhere else. Another clue said something about Bungler's Bay. So let's land here and examine another stone marker. What's this stone over by here, then? Some kind of writing on it, too. Now, what does this say? The Bounty of Bungler's Bay. No sooner had we uncovered a buried treasure chest than the captain lost his balance on deck and fell into the sea, taking the chest and its contents with him. We managed to haul the captain aboard uninjured, but the chest sank to the bottom of the sea, and to think he is the one always telling us to watch our step. A Castaway Corsair. Ah, some more runes. This must be one of the places marked on the treasure map, huh? It looks like it. Crikey, I thought the captain was a goner there, man. Oh, brother. Now let's call Tengri down and move on to the next location. We'll follow the coast up to the Errands. Another stone marker. What's this done over by here then? Some kind of writing on it too. Now what does this say? Treasure in the Errands. Finding this treasure was no mean feat, I assure you. No matter where we looked or where we dug, we could find no trace of the blasted thing. Only after we had reduced the entire coastline to an unsightly collection of holes and hillocks did we finally find a little chest, with a single gold coin inside it. To say that the captain was furious would be an understatement. A Castaway Corsair. Another pair of runes. It might be a good idea to write these down. This must be one of the places marked on the treasure map, huh? Sounds about right. 1 gold coin, eh? I'd be flipping gutted. Now it's on to the next location. One of these little islands. Here it is. It's on Tiny Tim, the northern island. What's this done over by here then? Some kind of writing on it too. Now what does this say? Tiny Tim's treasure. We managed to get our mitts on the treasure, but we suffered for it. Most of the crew are still wearing their swimwear from Castaway Cove and caught awful colds. It's a miracle no one froze to death. We probably only survived because we wrapped ourselves in our beach towels. If we ever come here again, we're wearing the biggest, thickest woolen clothes we can find. A Castaway Corsair. And guess what? Another pair of runes. This must be one of the places marked on the treasure map, huh? Yeah, must be, eh? Honestly, What kind of idiot takes to the high seas in nothing but swimming trunks, I ask you? Does seem a bit silly. You never know what the weather's going to be like where you're going to land. So it's off to the next location. Swan Island. On the eastern part of the island. Here's the stone marker. What's this stone over by here then? Some kind of writing on it too. Now what does this say? A discovery on Swan Island. Not only does Swan Island look like a bird, it's actually covered in the things, all living happily alongside one another. They didn't like it when the captain started digging for treasure, though. Huge flocks of them started pecking at him all at once. They probably thought he was after their eggs. I'll never forget the captain trudging back to the ship, muttering about blasted birds and roasting them all. A Castaway Corsair, and another pair of runes. This must be one of the places marked on the treasure map, huh? Probably, yeah. I quite like this captain's style, I've got to say. So let's hop on Tengri. In the next episode, we'll continue our search for the stones. This is Herr Rotlinia. I would like to thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time.